What is up, guys? It's me, boy Kwis, and we are back again with another video. And today is a very special video. Today is a very special day for more than one reason, actually. First of all, woke up today, checked my YouTube. We hit 18,000 subscribers. Like I said, I haven't really been like chasing numbers this year, so I don't know when that happened. So whenever it did, thank you guys for that. That means a lot. 18,000, this happened quite fast. Wasn't expecting it. 20k soon, who knows? But thank you guys for that. Second of all, today is also a very good day. You see the head move? It's a very good day because we have patch notes. But we don't just have patch notes, we have patch notes. Like, these are just really good patch notes. Like, I took a small look at them and I'm very happy because very recently, for those guys that keep up with the FGC in general, you know, Street Fighter had a very big patch and their patch notes had like reasoning for why they did certain things and this and that. And we over at Tekken were jealous, like we don't get that kind of communication. But here we go, over here we have this kind of communication. The patch is very detailed. It lists why they did certain things for everything. The main two characters that I'll be talking about in the patch notes, by the way, is Steve and Fak, because they have the longest list. And from what I'm seeing, it's a lot of nerfs to these two characters. I mean, for Fak, it's like good riddance. For Steve, I don't know if they hit him too hard. I haven't really looked through them yet. But all I see is nerf. So who knows what that means. But Fak, this is deserved, well deserved. He still needs more. And we'll see if they've given him everything he deserves here. And I also have the game open as well because the patch is out now. It's updated everything, getting ready for Lydia to come out tomorrow. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the patch. So we're going to focus on only really Steve and Fak because you can see those two have the most changes. And then I'll gloss over the other characters. But first off, we go with Steve. His rage drive was one of the most powerful, and properties on attack, block, and hit were quite strong. Also reduce the turn on hit. While retaining its effectiveness, the damage from the first attack is now reduced from 10 to 5, which I think is good. His rage drive damage has now gone down, and we can demonstrate that for you real quick. And here we go here. Steve with rage. I'll just do a basic rage drive combo, something as simple as this. You see that only 69 damage, and you also saw another change in there, which we'll get into in a second. Yeah, and that was just a very basic combo. We can go for more complex ones, like something like this. Right, 73 damage, but that's a lot harder to do. I'm also doing it on Fak. That's quite a big character. Smaller characters, that might be a bit more difficult. You can see there, you know, 73 damage. That's a lot of damage gone there for Steve when it comes to the rage drive. I'm a fan of this change. You know, I think his comeback potential is too crazy with this rage drive. Whenever he's in rage, you have to sit there, wait for it, block it, and then start playing the game again. So I agree with this change. And now next up, we see this is a change to, so I'll cover these two as well. So this is a change to Steve's forward 2 /1-2 and then down forward 1-2-2. And that was a string. I'll literally just show you what the string is actually. So this is a string you may see from Steve from time to time trying to catch, you know, trying to interrupt, trying to do whatever. And the patch notes actually say, despite in theory that this was interrupted, it was still very hard to do. So what they have done to this string is they have made both of them now -10, which I think is very fair. I think, honestly, looking back, I felt like it was unsafe in the first place. I didn't know why it wasn't, but this is now -10. I feel like this is very fair, especially when you consider the reward you get off of this. If I just show you now, if you're in rage, I messed up. I messed it up again. There we go. You see, the reward you could get in rage was actually kind of crazy. So I believe this is fair. You know, just take away, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, right? You know, that being -10, you don't really see Steve players throw that out too much anyway. And if they do, you can now punish them for it. Take your turn, continue your plus frames, you know, have to make Steve, you know, stop pushing buttons from it, which is always nice. And here, another change we have to Steve is, so I glossed over one, was his Albatross 2, quick turn 2 there. It was very good in terms of both the amount of aerial combo damage and the length of distance it carried the opponent. You reduce the carry distance when hitting an opponent in the air to make it more difficult to connect to a wall combo. This is something I think is completely fair, because if Steve just went for a combo using Albatross 2, he could get a lot of damage and also wall carry as well. But now he has to sort of choose between the two, which is something I think more of the Tekken cast kind of need. You know, you have to pick. You know, you have to go for your wall carry, you do this combo, and if you want to just you want to go for damage, you go for this combo. So this is something I agree with. I think this is a good change. Now he has to choose between the two, and Steve still has wall carry option that he can go for anyway. So, you know, I like this change. I actually saw the Albatross 2 change before. I saw someone else streaming and I saw that and I was like, wow, that's different. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for Steve to get the one certain scenarios. So I'm a fan of this one. And then another one we should get into while we're here is, you know, the biggest one I'd say is Steve's down forward 2 is no longer homing, which is quite a big one. You know, this was the tool for Steve, right? Back 1 and down forward 2. That was all he really was. And now, you know, it is no longer a homing tool for Steve. You know, you can now move around it from what we're hearing. So if we do something like, I don't know which is its weak side yet, so try sidewalk right. See that at -2 and go sidewalk left. Yeah, both sides. So at plus, Steve is still going to be able to lock you down with this move. Try a sidestep as well. I think using Fak is a bit weird as well. I should use a different character for this, shouldn't I? Just because Fak's movement is a bit weird. He's a bigger character. Looks like right is the weak side to it, as you can see there. You know, because even at plus and then at minus, you definitely get around it with a sidestep. So you can sidewalk left, but sidestep right, it looks like the best way to beat it. Make sure you test this yourself, by the way, because obviously I've got Fak here because he's a bigger character, so things might be a bit different for Fak. But from what it looks like here, even at kind of plus, you can still sidestep to the right. Obviously something at +8, just, you know, it's a bit too ambitious to try and get around it, but you see there, and I think it still retains, you know, its counter hit properties. You know, still does the same thing. You can get your rewards, you know, and I think that's fair. The move still stays strong being a mid counter tool, but now without homing, you can go around it to the right. I think that's fair, and you know, be able to sidestep it and launch it. That's going to be big against Steve. And then back to the patch notes again. You have his down 1. So despite the fact the frame advantage upon hit was supposed to be even, in reality Steve was able to take advantage, able to dodge the opponent's quick attacks with a left or right weave. We changed the frame advantage upon hit from 0 to now -2, so his down 1, which is the little low poke, is now -2, which I think is fair, you know, for a low like that. And even still, Steve has other lows he can go to. And I think the biggest change here is that Steve's back 1, I haven't tested this yet, I haven't seen this yet. Steve's back 1 now has 3 extra frames of recovery, and I think this is big. You may now be able to actually whiff punish Steve. You know, he might not be able to get away with back 1 for free. That's not something I really want to test in training mode, just because, you know, with punishing a move in training mode doesn't really mean anything, because training mode, you know, the move is coming. You know, even with delay, you could, like, I don't really want to test that, but you know, there's added delay in that he can't go into flicker just as fast. So that's something I want to test out. Can he now not really just get away with back 1 spam? So I'm happy with all these changes in general for Steve. I don't think he's been hit too hard. Also, his flicker back 2, his power crush now does 21 damage instead of 27, because it was a powerful power crush. Only able to do in flicker stance. It was a quick attack move that can be used very frequently to hit the opponent. So, you know, diminishing return is now 21 damage instead. So yeah, I think across the board, these are good nerfs for Steve. I think the good Steve players will be completely fine with this. You know, the good Steve players, although they may have abused like back 1 and down forward 2, they'll be fine just having to do those moves less and just play 1-2-1 poking game. I think they'll be completely fine with this. I don't think Steve is dead off of this, but yeah, these are good changes. These are nerfs I think he needed. Simple things like making those strings -10. Back 1 you can whiff punish, down forward 2 isn't homing anymore. I think this is fair. You'll be able to move around Steve more, and I think Steve has to think more to play. He can't just, because I've been playing a lot of Steve myself, and you can go very brain dead with just back 1, down forward 2, and you can't really do that anymore from what this shows. So I'm a fan of this. Now let's get into Fak. So there are a lot of notes here for Fak. I'll actually leave the patch notes in the description so you can read this yourself. There are a lot of notes here for Fak. First of all, his rage drive does 10 points. The first hit now does 10 points less damage. And you've seen the rage comebacks that Fak was possible to do. I don't need to show anything. I think this is completely fair. That rage drive did too much damage. 3-1 into the rage drive was absolutely crazy. So I am completely fine and okay with that. Next up is 1-1. Because he has this move as well as other combinations starting from his one jab, the opponent wasn't able to perform any action other than standing block. We reduced the damage from 20 to 16 and removed the reaction from being counter hit because we deemed the attack starting from his jab were too strong. And I think that's super good. We just take a look at that now. So his 1-1 now does less damage. You see the hitbox are gone as well. Can we show? There we go. So you see the hitbox are gone because it's doing less damage, 23 in total. And then they say they have taken away the counter. So yeah, this is a very fair nerf in my opinion. 1-1 was just too strong as a 10 frame counter hit tool. No hit sparks, doesn't knock down, doesn't do anything. You know, I think this is super good. Very fair. You know, 1-1 was super strong. You just abuse this online. Then 1-1 into like sabaki and stuff. The sabaki we'll get into later because I saw a good nerf for that. 1-1 into sabaki, you know, like I'm happy. I'm very happy about that. That's a good change. And now next up you have his 1-4, which is his 10 frame punish. So the frame advantage upon hit was too outstanding compared to other characters. Therefore, we changed the opponent reaction upon hit and the frame advantage from +16 to +3. I am a huge fan of this change. I think 1-4 was such a crazy punish, like +16. Now only +3. They don't spin away. So yeah, they're left close, but you know, he can't do stuff like this anymore, right? Because if you didn't hold back and Fak did this, if you just didn't hold back, that was a combo. That was a full combo into launch into 1 billion damage. So I think this is super good. It looks like that's not going to wall splat anymore as well. That won't, you can see from that it won't wall splat. You know, look at that animation there. You can test it for yourself. I hope I'm not wrong. I can't bother to change stage to go and test it, but I'm fairly confident this doesn't wall splat anymore. Like fairly confident. Like please don't let me be wrong. And then next up, so his standing 3 and down forward 1 both got the same change. In that his standing 3, as he was to easily stop the opponent's action with a long reach poke. We added 3 frames of delay to change the frame advantage when blocked from -6 to -9 and from +5 to +2 on hit. His standing 3 is now -9 and his down forward 1, same thing. More difficult. We added 2 frames of delay to change the frame advantage when blocked, so it's gone from -3 to -5, and on hit it is +6 to +4. His down for 1 and standing 3, the 13 frame mids have been nerfed. They still have their follow-ups, but I see here 3-4. It was a very powerful combo attack that limited the opponent's action because you could thwart the opponent's defense with 3 options after 3. This attack could hit the opponent if they tried to deal with the follow-ups. In order to reduce the return while retaining its role as limiting the opponent's action, we changed the opponent's behavior upon hit and reduced the damage from 20 to 18. So 3-4 has been nerfed, and this is something I have been crying for a while now because 3-4 was just too crazy of a move. So first off, standing 3 only +2 and when blocked -9, down forward 1 only +4 and -5 on hit. So sorry, -5 on block, super good. And now 3-4. Oh, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. This is, you know what, I actually said this. I said this a few days ago. Only the 4 should be counter hit. Now it's only +1 as well. I'm a fan of that. I said this before, only if you get counter hit by the 4 should you get that knockdown. And now the gods have answered the prayers of many. Because what's interesting, if you look at the first Fak trailer, this is what 3-4 did. In the first ever trailer for Fak, this is 3-4. This is what it was now. For some reason they buffed it in the interim, but yeah, I'm super happy with this. I don't mind that at all. I honestly don't mind that at all. You know, you still get that knockdown, but only if the second hit is counter hit. This is exactly what I wanted. Seriously, exactly what I wanted. I even mentioned this a few days ago. I'm very happy with this. So now just a few smaller changes here. So his down forward 3 is now -2 on hit and now -13 on block. That was his safest low. It was the little run up kick. Now -13. It was the safest low. I'm a fan of it now. Basically all of Fak's lows, the safest they are is on block is now -13. I'm a fan of that. I think with such strong lows, you know, you need to get a big reward for blocking them fast as well. So that's now -13. It's down for 2-3, now -12 on block. and they've made it harder to hit. You can't hit confirm it anymore because the window is now 16 frames. So literally you cannot hit confirm downfall 2-3 anymore, which is his launcher. You have to go for it, or like you have to go for it. Simply you have to go for it, or just do a downfall 2. So you cannot hit confirm, because it was kind of hit confirmable on reaction if you were super good. But it was like teetering on the edge, like really on the edge. So now that's gone. 16 frames, you have to input the move and just go for it. So now it's just a straight up punish tool, not a wait and see tool. Very happy with that. His downfall and 4-4 now do 15 damage instead of 18. So that's the low downfall. You see that move all the time. Like they're saying here, you know, it was strong, damage was high, reach was long, hits a downed opponent. So I love these patch notes, by the way, explaining how, you know, the reason behind certain things. And now the sabaki is now minus 17 instead of minus 13, and reduce the damage of it anyway. So I'm happy for this. You know, the sabaki is now launch punishable for all. I'll show here because even Steve can launch, and Bob should be able to launch. I don't think his sabaki leaves him crouched. Yeah, it doesn't. So Bob is going to be able to launch as well. And as you see, full launch for every character in the game. Like this sabaki was so annoying online, and now it will not be as much, you know, because everyone can launch it, get their combos in, and have a fun time. Yes, it's still going to have its use. It's still going to be very strong. So launching sabaki, but now he just doesn't get away with it for free. He doesn't get away with it at all, and I'm a huge fan of that. And then the last thing, his back 4-3-2, which is the knee elbow, which is Bruce's back 2. It now just does less damage. You know, they're like, it's an easy wall combo. You shouldn't get nothing more damage from it. They've nerfed the damage on that a lot, so telling you to just do the other wall combos instead. Big fan of that. Overall, very happy with these nerfs. We'll have to see how the downfall 1 and standing 3 still play, because they still have all the follow-ups, but they've made it easier to start mash against it now instead of just like get destroyed for it. You know, like they've made it a lot easier to deal with. So I'm a big fan of this. Actually, one more thing I need to check actually. Yeah, so it's still natural on counter hit, but like we've seen there, it's no problem. You know, unless that second hit's counter hit, it's not a problem at all. So I'm a big fan of that. Overall, huge fan of these changes. Steve and Fak have been nerfed heavily. Everyone else, I can't really, there wasn't really huge changes for other characters. There were for a few, like Julia got a few changes, but these two are really the main focus of the patch. I don't know the reasoning why these two though. Obviously Fak, I know the reason behind, but Steve is a bit of a weird one of the top tiers. I feel like a lot of characters have dodged nerfs in this patch, like Devil Jin, you know, Kazuya. I mean, the mission is in general for their electrics. I think a lot of characters dodge nerfs in this pack. I mean, in this patch, and Steve is being punished for that. But overall, I'm a huge fan of this patch. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Thank you guys for 18,000 subscribers. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.